Hi, I'm Shana Lipner-Grover from Sage Country Herbs, and we're here in San Diego at Balboa Park's Trees for Health Garden, and we're gonna go visit some of our plant friends. So here's another one of our friends at the Trees for Health. I'm talking about this one right here. This is Ginkgo biloba. This tree is really cool. I'm so excited to tell you about it because ginkgo is one of the oldest living fossils. I mean, that name alone, so cool. So Ginkgo biloba is part of the Ginkgoaceae family. It's the only member of the Ginkgoaceae family because the Ginkgoaceae family goes back 350 million years. That's why this tree is called the living fossil. It almost was extinct. Even now, there's only 2 forests in its native China that are still native ginkgos. So it's known as actually being endangered around the world. This tree should be extinct, having nothing to do with humans. It actually almost went extinct, and then humans discovered it. It had been here, of course, for a long time, but humans recognized it in the late 1600s and then started propagating it. So even now you find ginkgo lining the streets around the world, and they all came from the people that saved this species from going extinct. Part of the reason why we like to line the streets with them is because of these leaves. Now, another name for this plant is called maidenhair tree, and that's because the English looked at the leaves of this tree and decided, oh, the leaves have the similar shape to the maidenhair fern, so let's call it maidenhair tree. You find this actually happens in botany a lot. Maidenhair fern and ginkgo have no relation, but they have a similar shaped leaf. This leaf is a fan shape. They are really beautiful, and the coolest thing about these leaves is that this tree is deciduous. So come the fall time, these leaves go from this beautiful green color to a vibrant yellow, and that yellow is actually incredibly rich in flavonoids, some antioxidants that this tree is known for. So as a deciduous tree, it just drops them mostly all at once, generally around October 21st. Tree goes completely yellow and then the leaves fall off. Now the other cool thing, well, there's many other cool things about this tree, is that it's dioecious. Dioecious translates to two house. That means that there's male and female flowers on separate trees. That's right. There are actually male trees and female trees. So the female flowers are the ones that are going to produce the fruit. So a bee or another pollinator needs to go back and forth from tree to tree, from males to pick up the pollen, to then go to the female trees to deliver that pollen, which then is going to fertilize the fruit. Now, the fruits of ginkgo are interesting. They're known to have a slight rancid butter smell, not exactly enjoyable, but that's upon ripening of the fruit. So the name ginkgo actually comes from a Chinese name that translates to silver apricot. So the fruits of these may have a similar shape to apricot, but the scent of them do not make them as appetizing to want to just, really dig in. Now, the species of trees that this is have been around for 350 million years. Of course, not one tree lives that long, but the species itself. However, these trees, individual trees, can live up to 1,000 years. That's a long time for a tree. There is a lot of clinical research that is now backing up the historic use of this tree. Ginkgo is rich in a compound called ginkolaids, and science has now shown that ginkolaids have an effect on crossing the blood-brain barrier and helping to bring blood flow up to the brain. So historically, before we knew any of this, ginkgo has actually been used as a circulatory stimulant and as a brain tonic, aiding in things like memory and cognition and focus. And now we know through science that we have ginkolaids. Now, the fact that this tree is used for brain chemistry and as a brain tonic leads it into this relatively new category called a neurotropic. And neurotropics are substances that affect brain cognition, focus, memory, So that means that this tree has been used for a wide variety of issues, everything from things like ADHD and ADD to studies on dementia and Alzheimer's. Now, none of those studies have been 100% conclusive that this tree is doing something. However, when we combine some studies that show some promises with the many, many, many years of historic use, we get a lot more foundational understanding about how we can work with this tree as medicine. This tree and the standardized extract, which is the primary way of using it, is the #1 supplement in European herbal medicine. It's very, very popular still in China, and it's gaining popularity here in America as well. So ginkgo is truly, truly a living fossil. There is so much to learn about it. Some other clinical studies into the use of those active ingredients, the ginkgolides, has actually shown a reduction in PAF. PAF stands for platelet aggregate factor. Not only is this the primary clotting factor that your body uses to create clots, which are a good thing when it's in check, but too much PAF is problematic of too much clot formation. But PAF is also used in the way that your body responds to a lot of allergy and histamine-related issues, like skin allergies, sinus allergies, as well as things like asthma and other allergies around the lungs. So this PAF and the ginkgo's ability to reduce the PAF can definitely play a role in raising the quality of life of people who deal with allergies, as well as helping to bring more energy and availability to brain function. We could probably all use a little of that, right? This tree is recognized as valuable to help maintain. So it's even listed in the International Union of Conservation of Nature as an endangered tree around the world. It's very rare that a plant gets recognized around the world for protection. It's usually within a country of where it's native to. But ginkgo, and the way that humans have spread it around the world, actually has the endangered status for around the world. That's just how special it is.